April Fools. Bet you thought I wasn't going to come on today. Day 21 of my sunrise challenge. And yes, I have managed to wake up every day before the sunrise for the past 21 days. I did that. Would I say I'm now a morning person? No, I would not. Good morning, Laura. So, today's 21 days, right, Laura? 21? It's been said that if you can do something consecutively for 21 days, you can change a habit, do something differently. Yeah, there was no sunrise here today. It was foggy here as well and overcast. The sun is out in it right now, but I'm not going to the alligator pond anymore because of the algae that's on it. I think it might have been affecting me. So, good morning, Catherine. Good to see you guys. So it's just saying that 21 days is supposedly the time it takes to change a habit. Good morning, James. And I've been trying to change my habit of not getting up in the morning very early, not able to do mornings. Sorry to hear about your allergies, Catherine. I can't do it. I freely admit this 21 days of getting up. Now, I would say yes, I have somewhat changed my circadian rhythm. I don't know if it's been very helpful for me because it's kind of thrown me out of whack. And instead of only getting things done late at night, I no longer get things done. Great, wonderful, right? No, not so much. So, good morning, Nanette. So I'm a little disappointed in myself because I thought, wow, getting up in the morning, I could get things done in the morning. And yeah, I'm getting more things done in the morning, but are they important things? I don't know. I just don't think they are. I mostly walk around kind of like in a stupor. I've been doing this show every morning, which also kind of sets me back because then I think, oh, good, you did a show. Now you don't have to do any more shows today. And that's not right. That's not how I want it to be because I'm not ready to do shows in the morning. And you're right, Jim. Sometimes it's just too hard to sing in the morning. Good morning, good morning. You slept the whole night through. Good morning to you. No, it's easy to sing in the morning. But as far as slept the whole night through, I have problems doing that. And I try to go to bed really early, like we're talking like 8:30, 9 o'clock, thinking that'll set me on a good course and I'll be able to wake up early. It's just messed me up. I don't know. I feel like all I do is sleep, but not sleep. You know, I'm not like getting really good restful sleep. I'm kind of forcing it. I force myself to lay down too early, and then I always fall asleep right away. But then I wake up in a couple of hours, and then I'm like, "Ooh, let's do stuff." I don't know. Jill's not a morning person. I just don't think I'm wired like that. I've also been hearing I should give up my caffeine. There's a lot of habits that we all have. And the thing about habits is that you can do something every single day for your whole life, not realizing that you are leading to some kind of a breaking point. It may be in a good way, maybe in a bad way. For instance, when you're on a diet and you do the same thing, you eat the same thing every day, or you'd be like me and you fast and you think, okay, this is our new normal. And I don't even know what point I was trying to make with that. See, I ramble in the morning. I'm just not with it. I spent an hour, literally an hour, walking around looking for my purse. That, like, where else would it be? Because I'm not going anywhere and I'm not doing anything. It's really this being a morning person thing has made me boring. I don't know. I don't want to go out with my friends. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't know if it is also the ascension, 3D to 5D situation that I'm reading about more and more, and it's a real thing. And I think it is a real thing. I think that humanity is shifting into something else. And I'm watching it happen. You're watching it happen. Sometimes it's hard to come to grips with this new normal. You know, they told us after the Schmid took over our lives that we would live a new normal. I don't know what normal is. Do you know what normal is? Are you living in the new normal? Yeah, life is definitely not normal anymore. So that's right, Laura. I'm hearing that tomorrow is Liberation Day. They didn't want to make it today because it's April 1st, which means it's April Fool's Day, which means that everybody's pranking everybody else. So if you do something today, it might not be serious. Okay, I get it. I get it. I'll never forget the cruelest April Fool prank that was ever played on me was when I was a little kid. And I was in my morning doldrums. My mom came in and she woke me up and she said, get up, we're going to Beach Haven today. And I'm like, what? April 1st, what? Like April, we didn't have any plans to go to the beach. I lived in Pittsburgh. My very favorite thing to do, of course, is go to the beach, hence the beach report's a real thing. But anyway, yeah, Mom told me we were going to the beach. And I believed her. Hi, Tracy from the future. And I was really upset when I found out that it was just a prank. I mean, spitting mad. Spitting mad. Look at me now. I will never, ever again be separated from the beach if I don't want to be. I never want to be. Sometimes I have to leave, but I always know I can come back. Laura says, we cannot go back to what normally used to be. We have to go forward to a new normal. Yeah, I know. Hi, Turb. So we're in our new normal. We're living our lives. It's April 1st. I keep hearing that tomorrow, April 2nd, something major is going to happen. Happy April 1st to you too, Tracy from the future. For those of you who are new and don't know, Tracy is in Australia, so that's why I call her Tracy from the future, because it's 12 hours earlier there than it is here. So Tracy's actually living at 8:45 in the evening, where we're at 8:45 in the morning. So she's already had a whole day, and we're just starting our day. So hello, Ahmad. Welcome. Thank you. Anyway, I did a little bit of show prep this morning, so I do have a topic that I wanted to talk about, because this is something that really makes me mad, and oh my gosh, I'm very angry with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. And Facebook is actually where I began the Beach Report. So I do have a lot of love for the platform, because it did turn me into the show host that you see here today. I cut my teeth on Facebook, and I would do my lives every day. And that's how I met Tracy from the future. Tracy's been to the beach already. Thank you, Tracy. I know I want to go to the beach so bad, but I'm scared because of the red tide that's been plaguing our beaches lately. And I get really affected by red tide, and it makes me choke and cough. So I haven't even gone near the beach because of it. But anyway, maybe it's not that bad. I should try it. So, all right. So Zuckerberg is a liar. Zuckerberg is a poser and a fake person. And even when you see pictures of him, he looks like, I mean, here, let me show you. Let me show you this Zuckerberg face. Look at this guy. What is that? What is that? Is that a real person? Is that some kind of a lizard person? I don't know what it is. Hey, LaDonna. But I do know that Zuckerberg is not a serious person. Remember how he went to Mar-a-Lago and he supposedly kissed Trump's ring and told him that he was going to stop his shenanigans and stop actually rigging elections by promoting one side versus the other, and stop with the F checkers and stop calling out people like me. Well, he didn't say he would stop this one. He got rid of me in a nefarious way. And I'm still on Facebook, mind you. And apparently I've started making money again. Yeah, in the past month I've made a big $18 on Facebook. So there's that. Anyway, whatever. I don't put any kind of stock in Facebook, because once I thought I was going to make $11,000 in a month on Facebook, and that turned out to be a big trick. Yeah, the Zuckerberg actually tricked millions of creators like me into making us think that we were going to make a lot of money one month. Yeah, it really looked real. Oh my gosh, it looked so real. I thought, finally, I've made it. Finally, I'm getting paid. But in the end, instead of me making $11,000, it was like more like 11. Yeah, they took all the zeros off and rounded it down and was like, oh no, 11,000. We're so sorry. That was a mistake. It's 11. Yeah, they really did that. And not just to me. Millions of creators were treated this way. So it seems like the left is also onto Zuckerberg. Everybody is. And I got to tell you guys something else. So I was at a meeting with a bunch of people who didn't know me, and they were trying to get to know me, right? And I was telling them about myself, and I told them about the Beach Report, and I mentioned that it had started on Facebook, but that I had morphed off of Facebook and I'm now more on YouTube, because I was getting censored, and Zuckerberg clearly didn't want me there. And the lady that was hosting the meeting, she said, why? Because you're too liberal? I was like, oh my God. What kind of meeting am I in right now? I said, no, because I'm too conservative. And everyone in the room was kind of like, oh. So funny. I walk into a room full of libs, and if they don't know me, it's the funniest thing, because I've literally, they'll be like, when they realize who I am, and they'll say, what are you, some kind of big Trump supporter or something? And I'll say, yes, that's exactly what I am. And they'll be like, what? This is a joke, right? Good morning, Spirit. And I say, no, it's not. It's real. It's real. I love my president. I trust him. I'm thrilled with everything that he's been doing. Good morning, Linda. So when I get surrounded by libs and they don't know who I am, for some reason they think that everybody is like them. I don't know. It's really weird, but... And they like me, I come in and they like me and they think I'm awesome. Hi, Steve. And why do you care how old I am? It doesn't really matter, does it? Does it matter to you? I don't think it matters. Not that I really don't care about age. Everybody on here knows how old I am. You guys can tell them if you want. I don't care. Anyway, not like I'm going to date you or anything, okay? Because I don't date. Anyhow, yeah, I walk into a room full of libs. They love me. They think I'm great. And they immediately assume that I'm just like them. It's the funniest thing. It really is. And then when they find out that I'm not, they are literally shocked. Like, I think they wet their pants sometimes. It's so funny. Because I guess I walk the libtard walk, I'm a woman. I was raised Jewish. I'm a journalist. I'm a writer. I'm in the arts. Yeah. Yeah, must be a libtard. Yeah, but you're right, Linda. I've got that MAGA glow. So but they always like me right away. They like me. And then they find out and they don't like that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm in this group of people and they're like, yeah, Zuckerberg kicked you off because you were too liberal. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not really how it works. Okay, so let me get back to the article that I wanted to read to you. This is actually coming from the Daily Caller, and I think the Daily Caller is pretty liberal. Am I right? Am I right about that? I think it is. So, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg's recent shift rightward appears to be a little more than window dressing, as his company's policies still favor mass censorship. Oh, and like I said, the way that he is censoring me is by claiming that I'm actually a sexual deviant. Yeah. Yeah, my Beach Report shows, they're all about adult sexual exploitation. Yeah, according to Zuckerberg. That's my big problem. Adult sexual exploitation. Okay, what? I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, that's what they're saying about me. Yeah, exactly, LaDonna. How could they tell? Because they can't define what a woman is. So funny. I need a little shot of caffeine there. So anyway, so they're realizing that Zuckerberg is still censoring everybody. Zuckerberg rocked the online world in early January 2025 when he announced a grand policy change, vowing that his companies would pivot from their knee-jerk censorship reflexes. Previously, now they're admitting it, Facebook and Instagram had been quick to censor, suspend, and ban users under the guise of policing hate speech and misinformation. Meta famously suspended President Donald Trump from its platforms following the Capitol. They're calling it a riot here. I'm calling it a hoax on the whole world. J6. The company defended the decision at the time by labeling Trump's online presence as a serious risk to public safety. Yes, and Zuckerberg has made it very clear to me every time I open up my Facebook page that I am at risk of losing my platform, and I am also a danger to other people with my sexual exploitation of adults. Thank goodness they're not saying that I've done this against children, but it's still very defamatory and really makes me want to lash out. It makes me very angry because it is such a lie. It's a lie. And it is very unpleasant to be lied about in this way. So that's why I'm here on YouTube. So I'm going to thank Zuckerberg for defaming me and lying about me and making me come over to YouTube, where I have a new audience and people who are mostly treating me with respect. There's trolls everywhere, and that's the way it is, and we can't do anything about it. But I do like the way that I can moderate my shows and just kick them off in real time. I can do that on Facebook too, so that's a good thing. But YouTube is not accusing me of doing things that I'm not doing, so that's nice. That's nice. They used to get mad at me for just going to Trump rallies. I've been banned a couple times by YouTube in the past, and like years ago. During the Schmid, they banned me for medical misinformation, which I'm not a doctor. So anybody following me for medical advice, don't do that. But if you want to follow me for life advice, do that, and I'm just going to come out with it. I'm going to be 60 years old this year. So I am still alive. I am unjabbed. I am a pure blood. I try never to eat processed food. Not saying it happens, sometimes it does, but I try not to do that. I fast a lot. I watch my weight. Sometimes I watch it go up, but I try really to hold myself, rein myself in. I've had a lifelong eating disorder, which kind of makes it hard for me. Just throwing it all out there. I'm flawed, but I'm healthy. I'm healthy and I'm happy and I have a good life. And I really hope that people can kind of follow my model for living, which is, give it up to God. Seriously. My key to happiness is a great relationship with my Creator and accepting Jesus. I mentioned earlier that I was raised Jewish, and I learned several years ago that I had been misled about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and was told that he was not an important person in my life and that I should just not even think about him at all. But that wasn't true. And so now Jesus guides all of my steps and leads me where I need to go. So I am a testimonial testament to the power of loving the Lord and letting Jesus take the wheel. Yeah, I've been through a lot. I've lost my parents to cancer, both of them. Then I lost my husband to cancer. Most recently, my greatest, most devastating loss was my little dog, who I lost a few months ago. Doesn't even seem real to say that, but I'm going to try not to cry. I cry every day over this. But anyway, I'm going to keep reading this article. Just let my real emotions get Okay. So Trump actually sued Meta for kicking him off of the platform and ended up scoring a $25 million settlement. I did not even know this. So Meta paid Trump $25 million. That's interesting. Meta also took broad measures to restrict user content related to COVID-19 that did not align with narratives, that's right, they were narratives, coming from major world health agencies. And there's another article here where Zuckerberg refused to name them, but a report found the people who helped Biden censor Americans on Facebook. I mean, the last 4 years were really our glimpse into America taken over by fascists. They call themselves anti-fascists, but, they're opposite day. They say something is this way, but it's really that way because they are liars. Anyway, Meta employees regularly ask the Centers for Disease Control to help them decide which content would be allowed on its platforms. Zuckerberg later expressed regret for that strain of content moderation. Unfortunately, he said, I think a lot of the establishment on that kind of waffled on a bunch of facts and asked for a bunch of things to be censored that in retrospect ended up being more debatable or true. Yeah, he said that in 2023 to podcaster Lex Friedman. So he admitted what he did. And then President Trump, ran for president, kicking off a spell of media appearances and publicity moves that displayed Zuckerberg's thoughtful reconsideration of his digital empire's censorship regime. Yeah, I don't think so. I never saw that. I don't know. Hi, Shelly. I know you just texted me. Do I need to come there right away? Let me know. I was like, oh no, what did Shelly say? Following Zuckerberg's January video, oh yeah, remember Zuckerberg made a video where he lied to us all again and again and again. Meta apparently reformed its policy on hate speech, a euphemism that the company previously utilized to mass censor users. Exactly. They take words, they twist them, and then they use them against us. And hate speech, definitely. There's something called the First Amendment, and it doesn't mention anything about hate speech. What's hate speech? Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents would say, sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me? Remember that? Today, names hurt, don't they? Ouch. Ooh, oh no, I've been beaten up by a name. Oh no, they called me a conspiracy theorist. Ah! Yeah, it's what I am. Okay, I'll own it. There are conspiracies, and I got theories. Yeah, you can't turn those words against me because they're real. So according to this article, Meta deleted the hate speech section in its terms of service and in an ostentatious mea culpa acknowledged that too many users wound up in Facebook jail for harmless content. Gee, you think so? However, the current community standards still contain a comprehensive section instructing users not to post content which would fall under its hateful conduct policy. Though those policies were relaxed regarding the issues of gender identity, sexual orientation, and religion. Yeah, I still don't even think that. As for censorship related to public health, a spokesperson for Meta told the Daily Caller that the company fully abandoned its previous policies around COVID-19 misinformation in response to 2022 guidance from its oversight board. This guidance read in part, given Meta's insistence that it take a single global approach to COVID-19 misinformation, the board concludes that as long as the World Health Organization continues to declare COVID-19 an international public health emergency, Meta should maintain its current policy, because Meta seems to think that the World Health Organization is a group of real doctors who care about people's health. What a laugh that is. That's BS. Exactly, Linda. We are right. Meta did not address a Daily Caller question about whether or not they're still working in conjunction with the same public health agencies they did during the COVID-19 plandemic, or whether they've consulted more stakeholders. Yeah, stakeholders. You know, all those people who got filthy rich. Well, the rest of us were told not to work and take that $2,000 check from Bite Me that really turned into everything went up 2,000%. So you got $2,000, but you had to spend it on a tank of gas. Yeah, you remember. As part of the company, that would be Meta, their bullying and harassment policy, one may also find themselves on the wrong end of a suspension if they produce content that degrades or expresses disgust toward individuals who are depicted in the process of or right after menstruating, urinating, vomiting, or defecating. What? That's just gross. A spokesperson for Meta explained that its bullying and harassment policy allows users to express disgust at an action, but not target a specific person. And yet they targeted me and claimed that I did something disgusting and reprehensible that I never did. So what's that? Shelley has a documentary on Meta by 60 Minutes Australia. Yeah, and 60 Minutes Australia, Tracy from the future, by the way. We appreciate the that Rita Panahi. She's awesome. And all of the reporters in Australia who are calling out their American counterparts. But then I understand that Australia, not such a bastion of freedom either, is it? There's that. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Anyway, Zuckerberg is not really a conservative, okay? And he is also still using F-checkers. I know, because he's F-checked me like the past 4 times and found me to be a harmful person. Harmful. How am I harmful? I don't know. I always tell the truth. And I might find misinformation, but I usually try to debunk it. Like, there was some misinformation that came out the other day saying that there could no longer be advertising on the radio and TV for drugs by pharmaceutical companies. And that wasn't true. So, you know, I find that stuff. But yeah, they delete comments. Exactly. They're nasty. Zuckerberg has recently appointed numerous Republicans and Trump allies in positions of influence within his company. He added UFC president Dana White, who is close friends with Trump, to Meta's board. Some question the authenticity of Zuckerberg's moves. Rather than an earnest attempt at correcting previous mistakes, Zuckerberg's January reversal was simply a free expression magic trick, according to Eric Thomas, a journalism professor at the University of Kansas in Lawrenceville. This guy wrote that he crowns his company as a nation state with the power to censor, and he is crowned as the policy writing king. I would say that's so true. Many of the policies used to limit right of center speech on Facebook are still in place, clearly. Meta is in the process of ditching its fact-checking program, but is instituting a community notes feature in line with X. I don't see that they're ditching the fact checkers. I don't, because I'm still getting hit by them. I know you guys are still getting hit by them. They're still there, so that's a lie. During the 2020 election, when Facebook, at the behest of the FBI and Biden administration, by the way, there was no Biden administration in 2020, let's not forget, that was the Trump administration as it was being actually subdued and subverted by a future Biden stolen administration. Limited the visibility of New York Post groundbreaking Hunter Biden laptop story. See, this is really, this is where we muddy the waters. During the 2020 election, who was in power? Who was the president? It wasn't Biden. Not at all, actually. So it's very strange that Zuckerberg would go along with something that the FBI, the criminal, left-leaning FBI, and they're calling this the Biden administration, but it was not, because it was just a bunch of criminals plotting to steal an election. So I would say that limiting the visibility of the New York Post groundbreaking Hunter Biden laptop story and calling it misinformation and calling anybody who called attention to it a liar and should be kicked off of whatever platform they're speaking the truth from. I mean, that right there. Hello? Stolen election? Hello? Most free and fair election ever. I mean, this blows my mind that they're calling it the Biden administration in 2020. There was no Biden administration in 2020. Not at all. So that's just disgusting. Anyway, that's not the only article that I came across. I'm going to read you one more, and then I'm going to start to get on with my day and do my things that I got to do. So this one comes from PJ Media, which I know is definitely left-wing leading. Facebook top dog Mark Zuckerberg's January 2025 announcement that he was ending the social media giant's censorship practices appeared to be a remarkable turnaround. It seemed for a moment as if it heralded nothing less than a genuine crack in the hitherto unassailable edifice of the left's hatred for the freedom of speech and demand that everyone echo its political and cultural line or suffer the consequences, which began with being deplatformed and ended with the threat of personal and professional ruin as a publicly labeled racist, transphobe, or MAGA Republican. Yeah. Is PJ Media left-leaning? Because that just sounded like a right-wing article, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's all in the name of censorship, right? Let's see. It's hard to get to some of these articles, too, with all the firewalls and the... Can't even... And no, I can't. Looks like I can't get to PJ Media. I thought I could. Hold on. Hold on, people. I'm going to try. Okay, I found something else. Sometimes if you can't get to a reader because of its firewall, something you can do is go down to in your phone and look where it says show reader down here. See the A and the the capital and the small a. Well, they're both capitals, but anyway, you click on that and it says show reader. And sometimes you can get through a firewall like that. Not always, but sometimes. That's right, Shelley. There was a book written called 1984, and it talked about that exact thing, doublespeak. It's like it was a playbook for the future. Facebook is just as censorious and far left now as it has ever been, according to Robert Spencer, director of Jihad Watch and a Shulman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. You know, censorship is not freedom. Yeah, censorship is as freedom stealing as it can be. And we all saw that in 2020 when the left literally hijacked and stole the election from President Trump and gave it to a total criminal. And just the fact that anybody calls it the Biden administration in 2020 is proof of what a big lie that was. Why did they have the power to censor the Hunter Biden laptop? They were not in power then. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, I hate Facebook. I mean, I love Facebook because that's where I got my start and that's where a lot of my followers are still on. And I go on there all the time and tell them, get off, get off. And I all of a sudden started making money on Facebook again. I've been demonetized since I think before even last June when they called me an adult sexual exploiter. But I don't know, like I made a big $18 in a month, so that's great. Wow, thanks so much, Facebook. That's about what I've always made. No, I actually used to make about $1,000 a month. I worked really hard at it too. I made a lot of reels and I spilled my guts and, you know, I did all the stuff and I never like really soared high or anything. I never got millions of followers or anything like that. I don't even want millions of followers, but the followers that I have gotten, you guys, you are gold. And I would not trade millions of followers for the amazing people who are on this show watching me right now. So y'all have my heart and you're wonderful and I thank you. And many of you are my real life friends and you didn't start out that way. You started out as followers and now you're my real life friends and I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, Trump was in office in 2020, but so were the bureaucrats who were the deep state. And the FBI was clearly not on the side of Americans. They were being paid by a bunch of criminals who were intent on running our country into the ground. All right, well, that's all I have for you this morning. And I'm kind of like awake now and I got to do stuff and I got to get shit done. So I'm going to say ciao for now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will hopefully do another show. I'm not promising anything because like I said, I do one show and I'm like, whoo, I'm done. No, that's not true. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard to be me. All right, talk to you soon, Shelly. All right, you guys. Ciao for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day.